Section 18 of the Indian Evidence Act speaks about admission by party to the proceeding or his agent, how it becomes relevant. Friends, Section 18 is trying to say that the persons who are either party to the suit or they are legally linked to the party to the suit, in that capacity, if they have made any kind of admission, that becomes relevant as far as section 18 is concerned. So section 18 is trying to explain different categories of persons who are directly related with the dispute which is going on in the suit. It includes the admission by party to the suit or proceeding. Their admission becomes relevant. If the admission has been made by any agent or any person who has been expressly or impliedly authorized by the party to the suit to make such a statement. So his or her statement of such agent or person who is authorized to make such statement, that statement would be considered as the statement of the party to the suit, and therefore it becomes relevant. Sometimes the suits are having the different dimensions. It is a kind of representative suit. So whoever are the persons who are acting as representative to the parties to the suit, their statement would be considered as the statement of the party, and that would operate against the a kind of party on whose behalf the representation has been made. We'll take example. If there is a suit going on against the university and the statement made by the vice chancellor acting in representative of acting in the capacity as an representative of the university, then his statement of vice chancellor, that operates an admission against the university. Sometimes there are persons who are having any proprietary or pecuniary interest in the subject matter of the proceeding. If the dispute is going on with regard to certain subject matter, and there are certain persons who are having their pecuniary or proprietary interest in that disputed kind of a subject matter, and if they make any statement, that operates as an admission against the same party, provided the admission is self-harming. There are other kind of persons from whom the parties to the suit or proceeding that have derived the interest in the subject matter. A is a person who has instituted a suit against B, and according to A, what he is arguing, that B has obtained a will in his favor by fraudulent means, and A is claiming that basically he is the genuine heir of Mr. X, and B is stating with the help of the so-called alleged will that the will is in his favor, which was made by Mr. X, therefore he is having every right to purchase that kind of property. But what has happened? B made a statement in person to C, the stranger, or some any other person, that he wanted A, that is B, wanted A to deprive of the right of heirship. So therefore, he is going to opt for fraudulent means to obtain the will in his own name. So here we can say that the admission or the statement made by B against whom the suit has been instituted is a self-harming statement. So that admission operates relevant against the maker of the statement, that is B. So that is how section 18 is talking about how the persons from whom the parties to the suit or proceeding derive the interest in the subject matter. This one case, Johnson versus Lindsay. In this case, the captain of the ship, who used to maintain a diary regularly. In the diary, he used to mention how the ship was working on the high seas. And in the same diary, it was written that the ship was wrecked due to the recklessness of the captain. So later on, the suit for damages was instituted against the owner of the ship. Under such circumstances, the statement that we find under the diary, in the diary of the captain, which is clearly stating that it was his recklessness that has caused the shipwrecking, that will be considered as an admission of the owner of the ship, and accordingly, the being a self-harming kind of a statement, it would operate and become relevant against the ship owner in this case.